good morning from the rental car. We are heading to Takehara. It's a small town close to Hiroshima, and it's known under the name of Hiroshima's Little Kyoto because there's a section of the town where it's very preserved and there's plenty of historical buildings, so that must be nice. I will be shooting with my Sony a7C II and I have a new lens today. It's the 40mm f2.5 from Viltrox, an alternative to the G lens from Sony, which is a lot cheaper, and this video won't be about this lens specifically, but I can tell you already that given the price point, it's very promising. There's a bit of a traffic jam at the moment, but yeah, looking forward to reach Takehara and take some photos. I will be explaining a few compositions and hopefully give you a good impression of that place. So there is literally only one other car on this big parking lot, so I assume that it's not the busiest of day today. So I just arrived and there is this beautiful tree right in the middle of the frame, and what I did is I placed the two mirrors here in a way so that there is the same distance, the same gap between the tree and the mirror on each side, which creates a nice balance, because if I move right, for example, you see the balance is completely off, but if I place myself right in the middle, I think it looks way better. I really like the scenery we have here. We have the greens there. That building is nicely hit by the light from the side, but if I'm not very careful about my position, you see there is this electric pole here that cuts into the frame, and on the left side of it there's a little portion of the building behind which doesn't look that good, and if I just move like a few steps on the right, we can have the electric pole cutting through and making a clear separation between that little blue building and the other one, which looks a lot better, I think. I don't know why, but the pairing of these two cars, kind of vintage looking, I would say, and this really simple looking house works quite well. We have a nice light hitting them at the moment, so I just get a little bit closer and try to have a very simple frame with just the two cars and try to limit any visual noise coming from the edges, and yeah, it would be one other frame. I really love this cute little house with these blue things on the roof here, and you see now the light is nicely hitting the house and we have a shadow here, and what I did is I framed my shot vertically in a way that this shadow here, the tip, ends right at the bottom right corner of my frame, so we don't end up with like this weird triangle in the bottom of the frame, limiting the visual noise and making something a lot cleaner. When you can make lines or like shadow end at the corners of your frame, it always looks better. Here we have something pretty abstract with this little triangle of light, pretty harsh on this box kind of thing, and the little tree. We can frame the leaves like this, like going up a little bit so it doesn't cut with the top of the triangle here. And what I did, I jumped into crop mode, APS-C crop mode, which makes a 60mm equivalent on this 40mm lens, 40 × 1.5, and I could focus on a very small portion here, making a quite abstract image. just took a very simple photo of this main landmark, I guess, right in the center, very symmetrical. But you see, at 40mm, of course, it is tighter than what you see now. But look at this. We have a little like gap of light here, and if I was not really careful, it would be included in my frame. So what I did, I tilted a bit my camera like this to exclude that, and still not having a completely weird perspective. And I think it's just a small detail that can make the difference, because if you have such a bright spot around the edges of your frame, it can attract the viewer's attention and kind of ruin your shot. I have been shooting with the 35mm focal length for the past 18 months, the majority of the time, so I saw 40mm gaining in popularity, especially in the Sony community with the 40mm G lens, but also with Fujifilm. You know, there's this 27mm that is equivalent to a 40mm, and I already own two 35mm prime lens, so I couldn't really justify getting another 40mm, but I finally had the opportunity to try and experiment with a 40mm prime for an extended period of time. Viltrox sent me this 40mm f2.5 lens that is, I suppose, here to compete with the Sony one, and I must say that I really enjoy this focal length. It is everything I like about 35, but just a tiny bit tighter, so it's easier to get rid of some visual noise around the edges of the frame. So I think it is almost as versatile as a 35mm prime, but the good news is that it's just a little bit easier to compose with. I really like this lantern that is surrounded by beautiful palm tree, I guess, and I think this composition works quite well, because where I'm standing now, we have here this serve as a leading line from the foreground, and also the roof of the temple here with this nice curve serve as another leading line leading to the lantern. So I framed it horizontally like that, and yeah, I think it looks very aesthetically pleasing. There's very nice cloud formation here in the distance, and I really like how this little mountain and the other one are kind of scooping the cloud, making some sort of a triangle, and yeah, it just looks very nice, very pleasing to the eye. Sometimes it's as simple as that. There was another 700, 800 meters of walk, or should I say climb, from the parking lot to this place, but wow, it's incredible, the atmosphere actually the climb is not over. I guess I have to follow this path to go to the top of the mountain, another 160 meters, so let's go. In the shade is pretty cool, but still where the sun hits it's like 30 plus degrees, so summer is not over here. Slowly reaching the top, I guess. That's mountainside, and the other way is, wow, seaside. So we have a beautiful view on the inner sea of Japan, Seto Naikai, and you see it's very bright. We have plenty of blue sky, but also a lot of haze coming from the right side. It almost looks white, so in this situation cameras tend to underexpose because they consider this way too bright. So to counteract that, I usually bump up a little bit my exposure compensation to +0.3, +0.7, because in real life this is a scene that is super bright. You have to close your eyes a little bit to see properly, and I think in a photo it should look the same. So that's why, in my opinion, in such situation you need to bump up a little bit your exposure compensation. Pretty lucky now because the only position from where I can take a photo of this little hut is from where I stand, and you see the sun is somewhere here on the top left corner. So if we try to draw a line between the sun that goes to the subject, that goes to the camera, and that goes back to the sun, it forms a triangle. And when you have such a triangle, these are the best situation to have more of a cinematic kind of lighting that creates a nice contrast on the subject, because you have areas of light and shadow on it, and yeah, it just creates this 3D pop. I just decided to pull over the car a bit randomly because I saw some very nice rice fields. It's still very bright green. It was looking even better like 2-3 months ago, but maybe you can see them through the trees. I will try to find a better position to compose a nice shot. Not entirely sure it works very well at 40mm here, but anyway, I show you through the Osmo Pocket 3. It's pretty cool. I was driving and I saw this crane looking thing and just looked so unusual. I've never seen that. I mean, I probably saw one of them once in my life, but never like such a big amount of them put together like this. So I had to stop and grab a few shots.